Welcome back, everyone, to another explainer. Today, we are jumping right into something truly spectacular. We're stepping way outside our own reality to take a deep dive into the cosmic lore of the ethereal star system. Now, in this universe, celestial bodies aren't just giant floating balls of burning gas. Oh no, they are sentient, living beings with their own deep histories, intense emotions, and absolutely staggering powers. We're talking about a reality built on raw magic and divine emotion. And today, we're going to focus specifically on how these incredible ethereal stars are actually born. Just listen to this line from the source text for a second. The skies above the Eon cluster no longer shimmered, they throbbed. I just love that because it immediately sets the scale of what we're dealing with here. We aren't looking at static, silent space. This is a living, breathing cosmos. The universe itself literally possesses a pulse, an active, beating heart that responds to the beings living inside it. So to really wrap our heads around this, let's start with part one, birth of the ethereal, and look at the cosmic genesis that made these living stars possible in the first place. Okay, let's dive right into this cosmic blueprint. The ethereal star system didn't start with a big bang, like we're used to. It started with an ending. Well, actually, scratch that. It started with the massive implosion of an ancient black hole known as the Black Moor. When this thing collapsed, it unleashed a massive torrent of unfiltered ethereal energy. But here is the crucial difference from our universe. This energy condensed and literally woke up. It became conscious. That consciousness gathered even more ethereal power and eventually sparked life, evolving into these godlike cosmic beings known as the primordial aeons. Let's trace this quickly through the era of birth because it was a wildly chaotic time. First, as we said, the Black Moor collapses. Then, the cosmos just reacts to all that chaos. The primordial known as Virium gets so incredibly angry at the destruction that he actually ignites the solar forces of the universe out of pure rage. Soon after that, the primordial Celestria awakens, overcome by pure emotion, and her presence starts shaping the peaceful planet of Yaenddarr. Later on, we see the emergence of playful beings like Moxie. The big takeaway from this timeline, in this universe, cosmic creation is directly, inextricably tied to intense emotion. Now, let's shift our focus down a bit to the skies they created in part two, a sky with no suns. Picture this. If you were standing on Yaenddarr and looked up into the sky, you'd notice something super jarring right away. There are no suns. None. There are no moons either. It's a fundamental rule of the ethereal star system. Instead of a single massive star anchoring everything, the void up there is filled entirely with highly active, highly specialized stars. And these stars generally fall into two main categories, which couldn't be more different from each other. On one side, we have solar stars. These stars aggressively shine with a brilliant light. They're basically the engine of the cosmos, imparting raw physical vitality and strength to everything below. Contrast that with the lunar stars. They don't shine, they glow. They put out this softer, ethereal light that's deeply tied to physical healing, emotional regeneration, and deep intuition. It's this perfect, beautiful cosmic balance between raw strength and deep empathy. Which brings us to a really fascinating, almost industrial reality in part three, Forging the Lunar Stars. And this brilliantly illustrates just how unique this lore is, because in these subterranean mines of the Lunar Kingdom, under the guidance of a figure named Le Luna, they are literally manufacturing stars. First, these massive machines extract raw lunar essence directly from the cavern rocks. Then they channel it into these giant chambers where it's purified and concentrated. Finally, that pure essence is pumped into physical orbs. Once an orb is totally charged up with lunar magic, it is launched straight up into the ethereal sky to take its place as a star. It's like a cosmic assembly line. But what's really interesting is that it isn't an exact science at all. The timeframes to create these manufactured stars vary wildly. Lee Luna herself notes that while some orbs can be charged and launched in a matter of days, others take several months of super careful cultivation. It just goes to show the incredibly delicate balance required to forge a celestial body, even when you have advanced magical machinery doing the heavy lifting. Moving over to the other side of the cosmic spectrum, let's look at part four, Solar and Magi Origins, and their totally accidental creations. Remember Veyrum from our timeline earlier? Well, creating the very first solar energies wasn't some calculated, careful process. It was a literal explosion of pure fury. Veyrum ignited the solar forces of the cosmos out of utter rage while he was chasing down a chaotic entity named Veil Zorai. So the aggressive, vital strength of solar energy is quite literally born from the raw anger of a cosmic god. Talk about a fiery origin story. And then there are the Magi Stars, which honestly have the most entertaining origin story in the whole lore. The primordial Moxie was literally just trying to create a planet. That's it. But, being this being of playful, spontaneous energy, she totally messed up the cosmic recipe. Instead of a nice normal planet, she accidentally birthed a star made entirely out of raw, unpredictable magic. Oops. Now, these rare occidental Magi Stars aren't just floating batteries. They actually give birth to life. They spawn this enigmatic species known as the eunuchs. Think of the eunuchs as cosmic guardians. Because they're born straight from concentrated starlight, they have vast cosmic awareness, they can manipulate elemental magic, and this is the coolest part, they have a shared collective consciousness. They are essentially living, walking extensions of the star that birthed them. And that brings us to the absolute climax of our explainer today. Part 5. Birth of the Eon Star. This whole sequence starts with the primordial Celestria. When she was born, she experienced her very first emotion. And unlike Veyrum, it wasn't rage. It was pure, unconditional motherly love. This profound feeling was so overwhelmingly powerful that it sparked a massive wave of creative lunar energy. And she used that emotion, combined with her own cosmic essence, to forge a brand new celestial beacon meant to guide and protect the entire ethereal star system. Now, what's absolutely fascinating here is how this star grew. The texts are super specific about this. It did not erupt, it did not rage, it collected. As it formed, it absorbed celestial particles almost like they were little offerings. Its gravitational pull was so beautiful, it actually redirected stray comets mid-drift. But most importantly, it didn't just store energy, it stored nebular thought forms and intentions right inside its corona. It was a star that literally listened to the universe. Celestria named this absolute masterpiece Lycaios. And because Lycaios had gathered up so much cosmic memory and intention, it did the unthinkable. It woke up. The star achieved a true celestial consciousness. And the moment it became a fully sentient being, it felt this inexplicable, undeniable pull, drawing its massive, radiant body away from the deep cosmos and directly toward the planet Yaenddarr. But here's the thing. A giant star can't exactly land softly. Hurtling through the cosmos, Lycaios gets knocked off course by a dark disturbance and plummets toward the planet. To avoid just obliterating the whole world, he uses all his energy to shrink his form, crashing with a thunderous impact right into the healing waters of Oliviax Lake. As the steam clears from the water, his massive stellar body dissolves and takes the shape of a humanoid figure. A living, breathing star is now walking the earth. And while he might look humanoid, make no mistake, he is still fundamentally a star. In his true awakened lunar star form, Lycaios represents the absolute pinnacle of stellar evolution. He becomes this perfect, terrifyingly volatile fusion of solar destruction and lunar healing. His cosmic awareness expands to perceive the very fabric of reality itself. And crucially, when he taps into this state, it triggers something called form invariance. He is locked into this divine form and literally cannot revert back to a human shape until all that power is completely spent. So I want to leave you with this one crucial thought. If a living star was meticulously forged from pure love to be a cosmic beacon of hope and healing high up in the sky, what happens to the balance of the entire universe when it's forced out of the heavens, stripped of its celestial placement, and forced to fight in the dirt as a mortal guardian? It's a massive tectonic shift in cosmic power, and it definitely leaves us wondering what's going to happen to the ethereal star system next. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope you found the birth of these ethereal stars as utterly fascinating as I do. See you next time.